Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I'm about to go over something, an article that's very important in my opinion to where we've been and where we've come. And I want to make the point that we as Ripple XRP investors have been correct all along. And it's very obvious if you read this article. It's so obvious in your face, and they have made what my point has been all along. For those of you that were around when Bitcoin first came out, I've told you this before, Bitcoin was a response by, and I won't call them revolutionaries, but it was a response by people who were sick of governments printing money. Bitcoin came out in 2008 for a reason. I've said this many times. It came out, and it's a wonderful technology, and I don't want you to misunderstand. I love Bitcoin, and I'm actually long Bitcoin. And just like Brad Garlinghouse, I love Bitcoin, but what I saw in XRP from the very beginning, I knew that Bitcoin was born out of what the banks did to us and what the governments did to us in 2008, which is to put us in debts that we couldn't recover from, and to print money out the wazoo, and then to bail out their buddies. I knew that Bitcoin, what got me into this in the beginning was I knew what the Bitcoin people were thinking. I was as angry as they were. I knew why they created it. But the mistake that all of the Bitcoin, what people have called Bitcoin revolutionaries, were making is that just because the technology was revolutionary does not mean that Bitcoin was the right way to go. XRP was the right way to go and is the right way to go, because I don't care how revolutionary you think the technology is, it's not going to be done without the powers that be. That's just the way the world works. And anybody, and I'm assuming most of the Bitcoin revolutionary types that were thinking that way were the younger generation, but I've been around long enough to know better. And so, rightly so, and we're being proven right as I speak. This is an article today, or today or yesterday. 10 years after the Lehman Brothers collapse, Bitcoin and Wall Street are closer than ever. And they make the point in this article that here you have all these people who, Bitcoin is anti-government, and that's been, and they keep saying that how decentralized Bitcoin is, because they still want to create some impression that they are completely independent of the government and the banks and all of this, and it's just not true. Look everywhere you look. Look on CNBC. Look at what the New York Stock Exchange is doing. Look at what all the brokerage firms, they're all going full throttle into Bitcoin. And it's not because it's going to be a government overthrow, because it's not. They are co-opting Bitcoin, and they are as big a part of it as the revolutionaries, and they're going to be an even bigger part of it. And the fact is, one way or another, and this is just the way the world works, is that you're not going to get around governments and banks. These are entrenched, wealthy people and organizations that have been running the world for hundreds of years. This technology is going to change the world, and over time, it will make the world a better place, having decentralized currencies, but it will be co-opted in one way or another by banks. And for that reason, XRP investors were right. We were the mature people in the space that said, yes, if these guys begin now and start aligning themselves with all of the people that are running the world, then we will be able to get a foothold, and our digital asset that we're interested in and own will be able to surpass what Bitcoin is going to do, and it will, and it is. It's going to happen. But I wanted to read you, just to reiterate what I've told you many times, because they're talking about Lehman Brothers here, and it says, it's very clear that Satoshi was affected by the events that led up to the financial crisis of 2008. And then it's obviously recorded in the Genesis block as well. And then as you go down further here, it talks about how from the beginning it was Bitcoin versus the world. And we as XRP holders, we have been beat up by all of the Bitcoin maximalists and all of these guys writing all these negative articles. We've been beat up for years now. And the truth is, this article proves that we've been right all along. It was the right and the smart thing to do to go and align XRP and Ripple with the governments of the world and to work with them to bring about this new technology that is going to improve all of our lives. It was it was not the smart move to try to initially act like you're going to get rid of governments and banks. That was not a smart move. And the truth of the matter is, they thought, even the Bitcoin maximalists, they thought, oh, Bitcoin, you're going to be buying coffee and this and that type of thing. And the truth of the matter is, none of it, no matter how it ends up, none of it was going to happen without the involvement of governments and banks. And the Bitcoin people, and I don't think they're being drug kicking and screaming to governments and banks helping to increase the price of their asset, because that's exactly what's happening. It's exactly what's going to happen. So I wanted to go down further here because it's important that we give Ripple the credit where credit's due. And this is 133T meets the street. It says in 2013, he said, Ripple, they're talking here about how how Ripple was getting bashed. He said Ripple was one of the first to think about taking blockchain into the enterprise space. In other words, involving banks and governments and going to the people that could actually make things happen. And the typical reaction to that from that time period ran, what the hell are you doing? This is the opposite of the whole point of this. The point is, you don't need a bank. Why would you work with one? Well, I think that the guys at Ripple I think that this article just shows you and proves the things that they have been doing behind the scenes while Bitcoin has been trying to go against what's going on behind the scenes for years. The progress that Ripple has made and what you're about to see out of XRP is going to show it. And you're going to see, the world will see very clearly why Ripple has done what they did and how smart it was and how naive that the rest of the world was to think that you're going to bring about some kind of technological revolution in money without working with governments and banks. And Brad Garlinghouse has been saying it from the beginning. Okay, I wanted to go ahead and show you this one article before I go. And this is U.S. Morgan Stanley Moll's Bitcoin swap trading report. I just wanted to show you this. The derivatives contracts will be introduced after proven institutional client demands, internal approval process, a personal familiar with the bank's plan revealed. So just one more of a long string of examples of that Wall Street's coming in and they're creating all their investment vehicles, and one by one, the dominoes are falling. The switch will be flipped soon and lives will change. I am not an investment advisor. I am the digital asset investor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. And now, if you haven't gotten your Ledger Nano S yet, you need to go get it. The Ledger Nano S is the safest way to store your digital assets offline so that you can be safe in your investments until we wait for this bull market to come, because it's come. It's inbound. Thank you for listening.